Great speeches and persuasive arguments have an effective use of emotion, logic, and credibility embedded within the structure of their speech. Felicia will share more information about that process and lead you on a brief fact-finding mission. While the manual says there will be 2 to 3 minutes of question and answer, she has opted to skip that part in order to garner your full attention. So don't worry about writing down questions. She wants you to just pay attention to what she's talking about. Please welcome Felicia Barbera.
Someone once said that you can't really teach people new things. Rather, we can share information with them to help them understand things that they already know. So it is the understanding of the speaker that I don't intend to teach you about ethos, logos, and pathos. I imagine that you already know. However, we are going to talk about them a little bit, and I'm going to lead you through a comparative activity and show you how they're utilized. And at the very end, I'll ask you to pull out some instances of ethos, pathos, and logos in a written article. Is that okay?
Totally.
Okay, fantastic. Ethos establishes credibility. The information that you're going to utilize will help your audience to understand and believe that your argument is credible and that they should listen to you. Pathos. It's an emotional appeal to the audience. It's going to draw them in and make your argument relevant to them in their lives. Logos. Facts and numbers. Just the facts. Supports the arguments that you've already presented. One of the most brilliant utilizations of ethos, pathos, and logos is Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. And so I'd like to highlight how these things are utilized in this speech in an effort for you to be able to utilize them in your own. April 16, 1963 is the time frame in which Martin Luther King gave this speech. And he literally wrote it from a Birmingham jail, so you can imagine the pathos that was involved as he scripted this. Example, for more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored in this country without wages. He's utilizing archaic diction here, referring to the past, and is creating a very cohesive sentence. Word matches is complete, and it establishes the ethos of Martin Luther King's character, a very wise and sage person. For more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored in this country without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters while suffering gross injustice and shameful humiliation. Clearly, pathos, shameful, takes us back, creates a very vivid picture of what that situation was like. My dear fellow clergymen, with this rhetorical device, Martin Luther King establishes himself as one of them. Ethos. You're credible, I'm credible too. They've carved a tunnel of hope through a mountain of disappointment. So John showed us very effectively with his speech the power of visuals. There's a strong visuals that were going on. But with this rhetorical device, he's created literally an image in our mind of carving a tunnel of hope through a mountain of disappointment. So is there a possibility? And metaphor is where we're utilizing by explaining by comparison. Again, the tunnel through the mountain kind of gives us an idea. All of this comes from 4 BCE. Where he talks about is organized religion too inextricably bound to the status quo to save our nation and the world. Perhaps I must turn my faith to the inner spiritual church, the church within the church as the true ecclesia and hope of the world. So he's making an allusion and a historical reference to a Greek assembly. So this goes way, way back and alludes to ancient Athens. So throughout the entire argument, he's using logical, clear, sound reasoning when he's referring to segregation, simply stating the truth. If you're inside, you can't be an outsider. All of this leads to supporting his main argument and provides a reason as to why African Americans should not be segregated. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before the pen of Jefferson etched the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence across the pages of history, we were here. So he's consistently making African Americans a part of the American experience by referring back to the Pilgrims and establishing the ethos. Again, the Pilgrims, we all think of those as the founders of our country, and strengthening his argument. So that's basically the end of or overview of ethos, pathos, and logos. And now I just want to take you through a very brief exercise with a current article. So if we could take about 30 seconds. I want to set you up for success. So elements in yellow are already pieces of pathos, ethos, and logos. And I'd like to see if any of you can identify any other aspects of ethos, pathos, and logos. Are you able to read that from where you are? Okay, any instances of logos? Good one.
I didn't hear what she said, but the 7% thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Additional logos. Any examples of ethos? Credibility.
Is the fact that it's an unflinching speech, is that ethos for Eric Holder?
So you hit on two things. Unflinching touches on pathos, and then Eric Holder touches on ethos as a credible source, the Attorney General of the United States. And then the entire article has got a great deal of ethos behind it because it's from, you can't tell this, the New York Times editorial board. So a source that we can trust and believe. So in conclusion, I want to narrow this down. All of this is very relevant and useful to you. Utilizing ethos, pathos, and logos in proper balance helps to increase your persuasive argument in an effort for your audience to really connect with you. And again, great arguments always utilize these three things. So not only is it helpful to know them so that you can use them in your own arguments, but it's extremely helpful to be aware of them so that you can recognize them in other arguments. I'd like to thank you for your time today.